Rick, I wanted to talk to you, and we talk about this a lot because it's an important topic. I want to talk to you about wire fraud, and we've seen, iterations of this over time, and it keeps changing. And as
Every
as
day.
as we start to clamp down on things that they're doing, they come up with new ways. You have something you want to share about that?
This is Las Vegas Real Estate Now with local real estate expert Harvey Blankfeld.
Sure. So just to kind of recap, we've talked about this, like you said, Harvey, a bunch of times, but wire fraud is happening not just in real estate industry, but a bunch of industries. And it occurs when either a person sending a wire was somehow their accounts were intercepted, their emails, or the wire instructions that they received were from a bad guy.
Right.
And the bad guy's trying to get you to send them money, and when you send them money, it's gone.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to retrieve. And it happens. They're large purchases. They're not wasting time on the
Yeah. They're not going to hit you for your Amazon buy.
right. They're
Yeah.
not doing
going
that.
after that.
It's definitely the big dollar purchases. And
Right.
So what we've seen a lot of is, and I don't want to say a lot, but we've seen our fair share of situations where people were just not protected. And most of the time it's their email.
Yeah.
And 95% of the time it's email. They received an email 3 years ago that has some sort of virus in it. They don't even know it's there.
Right.
And it's just opening the door to the bad guys. To really what they do is they scan your email.
Right.
And they're looking for keywords, and these keywords will set off red flags in their bad guy system to say, we're going to jump into this conversation and see if we can send
Right.
a bad set of wiring instructions. And when I say a bad set of wiring instructions, they're the bad guys' wiring instructions. They're not
Right.
the title company's wiring instructions. They may look like it. They might have the name of the company. They might have the exact logo, letterhead, all of the same features that the wire instructions would have. But a couple things happen. One, they were sent unsecured.
Yeah.
Which that is an absolute. You never send wire or never should wire money to somebody who sent you wire instructions unsecured.
Right.
They can be hacked, changed. So many things can go wrong in that situation.
Yep.
So you always want to have something that is secured. And most of the time, there's services out there. We use a couple different ones depending on the client because some people are good with computers, some are better on their phones, whatever the case is. So
Right.
we have the ability to send wire instructions directly to your phone number that you've given us. And
Okay.
they can download them there. We can send them secured through our escrow software.
Right.
To where they'll have to use a username and password and log in
Right.
with two-factor authentication.
Nice.
So there's protections in place. But
Right.
what happens is that during the course of the transaction, buyers get excited, right? They're
Yeah.
getting a new property. They're excited to get closed. They go to the title company. They sign. We hand them the wire form that basically tells us the account numbers. But they get home and there's an email that says, "Oh, sorry,
Wrong instructions.
wrong instructions.
Yeah.
Please wire to these." And they print them off and they don't think anything of it because they just left the office.
Right.
Well, what happened was the communication was done through email to set up the appointment. The bad guy was watching and he knew exactly what was going on. So they waited and they sent the email.
Yeah.
And the people sometimes fall for it. And we had a recent situation to where we were the cleanup title company. So,
Oh.
which I like being the cleanup rather than the actual one that happened. So there was a transaction with another company where it actually exactly what I just said
Okay.
happened. And the wire instructions were sent to the buyer. The buyer went to the bank, almost sent the money.
Oh.
They almost sent the money. They actually started initiating it. They were still at the teller, and the wife made the comment, "We need to make a phone call."
Okay.
And they called, which I'm glad they did. I mean, we're talking 700,000.
Oh my goodness.
$700,000 wire that was going out to purchase this house. The wife called and they said, no, our wire instructions didn't change. Well, because they initiated whatever bank they were at, they froze the money.
Okay.
So they just froze the money. They didn't send it, but there was suspicion now marked on their account for what they did, even though
Sure.
it was them.
Yep.
It was a whole big mess. It delayed closing 3 days, but at the end of it, everybody was uncomfortable closing. And this other company reached out and said, look, here's what we got. Can you guys facilitate this? We're going to help give you everything you need, but
Yeah.
we need to make this right by them. They
Sure.
didn't lose anything, so we did. And we closed the transaction.
Nice.
But there could have been $700,000 gone. And there's certain times they strike too. So
They
keep
know
in mind,
when
they
to.
know when to strike. So Fridays are a big day.
Yeah.
Fridays are a big day. Why? No one's around Saturday, Sunday to
Can't fix it.
Can't fix it.
Yeah.
Right. Before a holiday, anytime there's a day
Ooh.
off, big
Okay.
day. We always have those
Okay.
situations. But the most important thing that as a consumer can do is verify the instructions.
Making that phone call was huge.
You got to make the phone call, and you got to make the phone call to the number that you've spoken to the people
Right.
at the escrow company.
Not the one in the email.
Exactly.
Don't do that. That's a burner phone.
It's a burner phone. It's a bad account. I mean,
Yep.
with all the different phone services out there, I can get 5 new phone numbers in 10 minutes right
Yep.
now, and I'll have 5 numbers that you.
Oh,
could
we
call.
all get the calls all the time.
All
they're
the
just
time.
they're just they
So
drive me crazy.
You have to protect yourself, even if you're uncomfortable with using the software and technology. Drive to your escrow office.
Yep.
Ask for a copy of the wire instructions.
There you go.
We'll print it out for you. We'll give it to you. We'll write down the number to wire, and you'll never need to receive those again.
Yeah,
And
it's nice if you don't have to receive them electronically. It's nice if you can get them just handed to you.
It
That's
is,
the
and-
easiest way, the best way.
And wire is the best way to send money for
Absolutely.
closings. And there's reasons why we don't accept cashier's checks or
Right.
regular checks, but
Right.
it's protection of everybody. I mean, cashier's checks, people don't understand, they could be canceled.
Yeah.
I could give you a cashier's check, I can go to the bank and cancel it, and now that cashier's check is
Yeah.
worthless.
Yep.
And it happens a lot. That's why we've switched to wires.
Yeah.
So you just got to do your due diligence and protect yourself. And if you're unsure, go to the office.
Yeah.
Go to where the escrow company is, ask for a copy of the wire instructions before you go to the bank, and then drive there and send your wire. But there's people need to understand, and this is the hardest part, is they always look to us as the title company to say, oh, it's your guys' fault that this happened. Well, it was the consumer's email that got it. It
Right.
wasn't sent from us, even though it looked like it was sent from us.
Yep.
But somebody interpreted our email, added a letter to it.
Yep.
My email is at Equity NV, and they've added 2 I's in equity.
Right.
Or they've made it NW instead of NV.
Right.
Something on your eyes aren't going to pick up on.
Yeah.
And they send it, and it looks right.
Yep.
It has everything, and guess what? It's not. So the importance of verifying is very, very key.
Yeah, a key takeaway, and you said this early in your description of what happened there, and I think it's really important. I want to remind everybody of this. It's really important. When you, first of all, the email servers and email addresses that the escrow company have additional protections built into them. They've got that, but you don't.
Right.
If you have a Google account or Yahoo account, those have some level, but very minimal level of protection. So here's what I want you to do. As a consumer, whenever you're dealing with a major purchase, whenever you're doing any kind of a wire transfer like that, you assume somebody's watching. Make the assumption. The bad
Always.
guy's there. He's already there. He's looking at you. He's watching you. He's
Yep.
seeing what you're doing.